Hey guys, Sean Bucci, surplusfundsriches.net. Excuse me. If you guys could do me a favor and go ahead and use the chat, not the question and answer. Again, use the chat section, not the question and answer to ask any questions. And if you could let me know that you can hear and see me okay, that would be great. There is a file download. You'll be able to see that. You may have to close your chat section to see that. Depends on the layout at your end. If you do, there's a download there for this webinar going over the different programs we have and additional information, and it will should have a link in it to the products page. And a lot of you guys know, big sale coming up April the 7th and the 8th. So you definitely want to make it to that if you haven't joined yet. This is open to the public. Again, don't use question and answer. Use the chat section, please. It's private. However, I'll read off the questions to you. We had issues before with that when we made it public. Anyway, please let me know you can hear and see me okay in the chat section at your earliest convenience, and we can get rolling right away. We only have a half hour, so we need to get all the questions answered that we can and move forward with it. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited about the sale coming up and how January, February, and even March now have been doing. Jeff says, all good. That's great. All right. You guys can fire away with questions. Until I see one, I'll go ahead and answer one of the questions I got from somebody the other day. They were asking about on the sale if they could buy something now and then, for instance, if they got the intro level program, which teaches you how to do it on your own and gives a partnership option. Then they wanted to add another program later in the bundle. Could they subtract it from the bundle price and call it good? No, it's point of sale. So if you're struggling figuring out what you want to get, my phone number directly, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time, please, is 704-791-9398. That's my cell. This will show up on YouTube. So you guys, let me make sure I have the settings right here. Oh, I wasn't enabling chat. Shoot. Now chat's enabled. Good Lord. Anyway, you guys will be able to see the replay on YouTube as well. Your chat box should have dropped open now. Jeff has let me know that he can hear and see me okay, so there's no need for that. Any and all questions are welcome, guys. And again, there is a file download for you. It has a lot of information in it. In addition to that, you can go to the site, surplusfundsriches.net, and click on products to see what's coming up. Catherine says, hi all. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you, Catherine. Any and all question, guys, you've got, bring them on. Peter says, able to hear me. Dana says, hello. Hello from Florida, from Carrie. Awesome. Thumbs up from Brad. We're doing one of the things that amazes me having this issue with, anyway, one of these things that's amazing me recently is the different states that we're getting stuff from. We're seeing them from all over right now, and that's fantastic. One of the things that we hear from people sometimes is they're trying to work a particular state and have maybe a little bit of difficulty from that particular state. And instead of moving on to another one, they try to stick around and work that particular county in that state. Maybe they're a little difficult to get a thing from, a list from. So guys, always move on. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, and I didn't get a chance to talk to Jeff about this. Those of you guys that have been around any length of time know that my business partner, Jeff, has been with me for years and years and years. And something that came up the other day where they were like, he handles support and he handles the underwriting. And they were like, hey, can I talk to a manager because I didn't like that particular answer? And the answer was perfectly fine. Jeff keeps me in the loop and something odd like that comes up. Jeff's my business partner. He's written probably half the books out there. And he definitely has written most of the stuff where it's step by step because he also handles the support. So not good. I'm seeing something pop up in Q&A. Please don't use that. Jackie, this is the last time I'm going to look at Q&A. Greater Good program. Please explain how can we use it. There is no Greater Good program. You might be talking about Rightful Owner Project. That is still not up. It's been a nightmare. But we're having it rebuilt and it's still going to take some time. Peter says hello from Arizona. Tim from Kentucky. I see a trustee deed. This is Samra. Sorry, I'm having a bad problem right now with pollen. I see a trustee deed that was posted in March for a property auctioned in December. But when I go back to auction.com spreadsheet, I can't find the property to get the opening bid info. Is there a workaround that I can do to get the opening bid? Jeff, jump in. If I said this incorrectly, one of the things you got to guys do if you're building, if you're building a list for the panning program, I'm assuming that's what this is for. We're building your own list off of mortgage foreclosures. You're going to need to get that information up front and write it down somewhere, or keep I think you can even download it a lot of times in an Excel format, but you need to keep that ready to go, waiting on when that's recorded. So I don't really see a workaround for that, because we got to know, obviously, opening bid and sales price. Brad, thanks for doing these webinars. Question on the chain of title worksheet for panning. What is the date file reviewed used for? That's so we know when you looked at it and turned it in. That accomplishes two things for us, Brad. We can keep track of our guys to make sure that there's as small as delay as possible between when you turned it in and when we put it in the database management system, right? And it also helps it for our purge list down the road, where we're going to know at a certain time period, we've given a year and a half, 2 years, we've given up and we're going to move on. So that's why we have that in there. Is this date used for determining when the file was accepted? Yes. Just curious what it's used for. You got it. Gregory says loud and clear. Cynthia says hello all. Pete, I've got all the deed flip programs. I've been working panning. Was wondering if the one at a time rule still applies for submission. I was also wondering about the file cap. Does that apply for all submissions? It does apply for all submissions, Pete. Yes, whenever you go from one program to another, you still got to do the 3-file rule that way. And guys, look, we're not trying to slow anybody down. We're not trying to punish anybody. Nothing like that. The 3-file rule is there. The 3-file rule is there so that you can turn one at a time until we've accepted 3. That way you don't turn in 10 out of the chute. All of them have a slight problem. In this case, Pete, for instance, if you turned them all in and you were your head was still in panning, and you made a mistake on them, now we're not kicking back 10 files to you at a time. We usually catch the issues the problems you're going to face, the mistakes you're going to make within the first 3 files. That's why we have the 3-file rule, regardless if you're already working one system and you're working another one now. Okay. Donna, what is the most proficient way to identify counties to work, or should we just request from every county in the state? Okay, so first of all, Donna, you can get a lot of you don't even have to request for a lot of the counties. You don't have to request lists. I don't know which program you're working on, but you don't have to request lists. You can find them online. That's one of the things we teach in the ebook, finding it online. You can also buy lists. I just don't think it's necessary. You can get online lists of tax sales. TaxSaleResults.com is a great one to use. But if you're requesting, what I would say is, as soon as you get a list from one county, now I'd go to the next one and request. Because if they go, I don't know what you're talking about, you go, hey, here's a copy of the one I got at the other county. Here you go. This is what I'm looking for. And that helps quite a bit. Carrie, turns out my roommate is probably owed $40K, I think, from a foreclosure 9 years ago. Ooh. If my research is correct, can I go up with him to clerk of court tomorrow and fill out surplus requests as a lawyer still needed? Carrie, it depends on the state. We always use attorneys. We think you're stupid not to. I know that's offensive these days. We think it's silly not to, let's put it that way, to use an attorney. It speeds the court along, gives you credibility, and sometimes they're going to ask for things like they're going to ask for proof, title work that you didn't have additional debt. And that's something you need to look into on your roommate. Make sure there wasn't additional debt against the property or him at the time of the foreclosure. If it was, that debt has a priority claim. You're saying 9 years ago. It depends on the state. There are some states that have very short time periods when you make a claim. And if you don't, it's considered abandoned and it's gone. So you need to check that out as well. Jeff says, Sam, are you going to be hard to find that info after the sale? Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I'm not sure if there's a workaround there. Morris, hello from Canada. Can I partner with you, but do I need a local U.S. bank account? So yes and no, Morris. What you're going to need to do, if you have a U.S. address and a bank account, you can get skip tracing, which you're going to need if you're going to use the Premier 16 or the 50/50 programs. because you have to call them and find them, and you're going to need skip tracing for that. But if you don't, if you want to use the national surplus funds, you're not required to find and call people. So with that one, you can make that our problem, and we have no problem partnering with you, even though you're in Canada. Okay. Hope that's answered your question. Hasya, sorry. Hi, Sean. For the planning program, when there are multiple satisfied mortgages, do you have a preference as to the order you want us to attach the satisfied pieces? In order of the date opening or the date of satisfaction? So I'm going to wait for Jeff to answer that because I think I know the answer to that, but I'm not sure. By the way, this is why when people reach out to me on Facebook or they email me or text me or call me and ask a post-purchase question, I blow them off and tell them to go through the support system. And the reason I do that is Jeff knows the front line better than I do. We handle completely different aspects of this business. I submitted research for property for panning for surplus funds on Sunday, but I don't see that the file is listed in the files work. Do I need to reach out to support to make sure my file was received because it's showing that it was sent on my end? So Sam Rattay, it should have gotten to us here by now, and I know that we're not behind. So I would resubmit it, double check the list, make sure it's not on there, okay? And then if it isn't, I would resubmit it. But another thing I would do is double check your inbox and spam folders because there may have been an issue with what you submitted. And underwriting, Jeff, got back to you, told you what to fix, but it's in your spam folder, so you don't know that. So double check that too. I found a property that has surplus funds in Pennsylvania. However, no mortgage info is found. I called the recorder of deeds and they said this is strange because sold due to mortgage foreclosure. Is there any other site to find mortgage information? I don't know why you're calling the recorder of deeds office. It's accessible online in Pennsylvania. We've gotten a lot of files from Pennsylvania. Just literally put in register of deeds, recorder of deeds, land records department, and then the county name and the state name, and you'll get to a site where you can check mortgages. No problem. Rochelle, I noticed the SOTA reports are online. I used to send money and get the disc. That's nice. I didn't realize that, Rochelle. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not going to tell people what that states that's from because it sounds like you might have a nice little honey hole there to work, you know. Jerice, working the panning program, are we able to work states added on the charts list? Jerice, we've updated the states you can work. There's a list on there on the resources page. And guys, I'm glad this came up. One of the reasons we have a resources page that we constantly change or add to or update is so that we don't have to update the book itself, right? So whenever you go to turn in a file to us, you need to go to the resources page and see all the recent updates that have been put on there. I believe Jeff dates those. And also things like this, it's right on there, the list. It'll tell you the list you can use to work it. Dana, is there a best one to start with between National Surplus and Deed Flip 30? So National Surplus, Dana, is working with, and that's available in bundles. You'll see that on surplusfundsriches.net. Go to products, okay? National Surplus is going after surplus funds in 45 states. We don't work Oregon, Colorado, or Washington State, or North Carolina, and Florida is a separate program now for us with National. We work North Carolina with Panning, I believe. Deed Flip 30 is going after property pre-tax sale. We also partner with that. We'll give you 30% of the net. In that one, you research the debt on the property that's going up to tax foreclosure soon. You research that debt, and you also research the value using online value systems. Put that in there, send it to us. Get that together, and then find the owner, which is easy to do when it's pre-tax sale. But anyway, find their owner, call them, make sure they want to speak with us, and they consider taking an offer on the property, and we take it from there. So vastly different programs. I'd get the gold bundle if you really wanted to get all that in there. It's an incredible deal at $9.97. Catherine, hi Sean, I found a tax foreclosure that is not on the county list. When I contacted them, they said to look on the list, which I have. They will not look this up. Is it possible they missed one on their list? Is there any other way to get confirmation the county will not confirm this? So Catherine, you said you found a tax foreclosure. Just because it foreclosed on tax doesn't mean an overage was created. It might have sold for minimum bid and that's it. So I'm not completely understanding your question. You need with a National Surplus or Premier 16, you need a list that shows that the money's been created, because not every tax sale is going to work. So Carrie, I got to go back to find out what this is about. Guys, okay. It's too late, Carrie. This was the guy that was saying that his roommate was owed money. That money may have been sent to the state. Have them check the state unclaimed, because I do believe that Florida allows you to continue to go after it at that. You're not going to be able to make any money off it. The state is extremely difficult to work with finders and that type of thing in Florida, but you can at least set them on the right path. If it's not in 9 years ago, it has to be there if there was money created. If there was no money created, it's not going to show up. So do a search by Florida state treasurer or unclaimed money, and there should be a state site. You can check for that. Jennifer Savage, my daughter asked me a question. I don't know if there's an answer. Jennifer, I have 3 children. I'm well aware of that feeling. Seems there are too many variables. She asked me, of the files I turn in, what percentage will have an ex-owner being found and signing the contract? So we don't cover that, Jennifer, for a couple of reasons. One is there's depends on what state it is as far as the death rate. That's one of the issues. Depends on how well you did the research, because sometimes there's additional debt and they won't even call us back because they know that and you missed it. I'm not pointing fingers or trying to deflect here. I'm just telling you these are some of the reasons where maybe we can't find them, or if there was, they died. That's a big one these days. So we don't quote, I'm sorry, but we don't quote percentages. And you're right, there's too many variables with that. Don says hi. Greg. Panning question. I have a case where a married couple got a mortgage on the home in 2017. This is the foreclosure mortgage. However, they gave someone a warranty deed in 2019. That means they sold the property, brother. And that person never attempted to get a mortgage. They didn't have to get a mortgage if they just sold to him cash. But the deed is in his name. So he bought it cash, okay? You got to double check, make sure there wasn't a mortgage taken out by him, but it sounds like he bought it cash. I was under the understanding a warranty deed was to prove there was no debt so the new owner can get a mortgage. No, a warranty deed is to show, okay, that the seller has warranted, to the best of knowledge, there is no additional debt that would impact the sale or the transfer of property, or not put a cloud on title. But the new owner could have taken out a mortgage later, refinanced the property, and cashed out. I'm used to seeing quit claim deeds. Yeah, so somebody used an attorney in that case. So is a surplus still supposed to go to the person who got the warranty deed? It's the last owner prior to the sale. Okay, great. But you search their name, make sure they didn't get a mortgage after the fact with the deed. Donna, sorry if this is a dumb question, but what is panning? Panning for hidden surplus funds, Donna, was a special program we did where we're going after stuff where you don't even need a list, and nobody is going after it. Surplus funds for mortgage foreclosures in those states that don't publish lists. So it's a great opportunity. We've really hit it hard out of the chute. Stuff's really starting to pop hard on it. We sold it for one day, January the 1st. Usually when we give back programs like this, amazing programs like this, it's a one-day sale, and then it ends up, the only way you can get it is in the Diamond Bundle, and that's available. That's a good bet, $23.97 on the page. Everything goes on sale the 7th and the 8th of April. Chestia, it doesn't matter, but probably an order mortgage was reported. Preferred, yeah, okay. Brad, follow up to previous question. I thought the timestamp on the email was the determining factor who got the file in first and not the date file reviewed. No, Brad, you're confusing two different things, okay? We're using the date file reviewed you put on there. We put that into our database management, but it's still whoever turns it in first wins. Otherwise, people would just say, "Oh yeah, I did the research the day before and write that on there." It's timestamped emails that came into us with files is what we go by. You're mixing two different things together. Greg says, "Okay, thanks." Don, getting stumped. NSF program. I can a list from a county, but having trouble researching. Where do I find the history? Don, did you purchase our program? Because that's a big part of our training, as teaching you how to research debt against the property and the person prior to the sale. Carrie says, thank you. Samra, when working panning, if an owner has declared bankruptcy, is it safe to say that they have too much debt to even work the file? Thanks. Not necessarily, Samra. It is going to be a red flag, but a lot of times I'm kind of amazed you're saying this because in most states, that bankruptcy, the fact they went into bankruptcy, doesn't really have it doesn't have an impact. Okay, if it wasn't recorded. In other words, we can pretend like that didn't happen if it wasn't recorded in the county, and a lot of times it's not. There are exceptions to that. Florida, a lot of times, will record bankruptcies. Don says, Sean. Okay, I must have said that before you answered my question, which was have you purchased the program? Don, how does Homestead Acts of exemption affect surplus? So, not really an effect on surplus, Don. It doesn't affect, I mean, they're going to foreclose. It doesn't matter if it's a homestead or not. In some states, there's a redemption right based on homestead status. Florida has homestead status as well. What that affects in Florida is the minimum bid, where they do this funky calculation based on value and also tax. It's just bizarre, but it does not really affect our ability to claim surplus. Carrie, is using info from auction.com worth the price? I believe so, yeah. It depends on which program you're going to use that for. I'm assuming panning, because that makes the most sense. But if you're talking about researching debt against the property, I would say do it yourself. I wouldn't trust an online system. I would do it myself, the way we train it using the Registered Deeds Department. Going great, guys. We've got 9 minutes left, so pound them out. We got to hear about it. Usually I'll shut this thing down, or Jeff usually as a moderator. He's in the background right now. We'll shut this thing down about 5 minutes till the end, so we got about 4 more minutes for questions, so get them in here. Don, I had asked you a question because I get a list, but having trouble researching. I don't understand your question. Did you purchase a program? If you did, make sure you not only read the initial PDF, but you click the link and check the resources page for the video training. There's a lot of video training on that. When working, panning for hidden surplus funds, I see in the GIS that the owner's listed has 2 names listed, but when I look through registered deeds, it only shows the one person. Do I go by the info on the registered deeds when researching who the owner is at time of foreclosure? So the registered deeds, you're looking for not only debt, Samra, but deeds of transfer. So if the only reason I can see for there being two different names on the tax and only one on mortgage is simple. And I've done this before. I was in real estate for years. And at the time, my credit wasn't great because we were just starting the real estate business. And my wife had really clean credit, was a chemical engineer. So we got the house in her name, the mortgage in her name. The deed was in both of our names, but the mortgage, the complete debt, was completely hers because I would have been an anchor at that point in time because of what was going on with starting a new business. I was becoming a realtor. At that point, I would have been an anchor. We wouldn't have been able to get the property with my credit. So the mortgage was only in her name, but the deed was in both of our names. So if it's got both of the names, double check, Samra, the deed, not the mortgage, the deed probably has both their names on it. So they're both entitled to the money. We want to make sure that we are doing everything correctly when submitting a file. This past week, I had 5 of them kicked back because other researchers got the file. Where it says in the file rules, put the defendant name, case name in the header. This means the subject line correct. Just wanted to be sure we are doing everything correctly from our end, since we cannot see the date and time the other researcher's file was accepted. P.S. Before we upload the file, we always check the active files list. Okay, yeah, Brett, it's a simple, silly mistake. Fix that, should be fine. But I mean, also, hey guys, it's really simple. Look, like I said, panning is 21 states, 22 states. I can't even remember how many it is. National surplus funds, it's 45 states you can work using lists that are already created. If you start bumping into people on a turn-in, and that's very rare, we don't have a saturation issue. But if you start bumping into people, heck, move out of the state, go to another one, go to another place. Thanks to you guys. The programs are great. So thanks for all your hard work. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Gregory. I've seen your name before, Gregory. Samra, and thank you so much to you and Jeff for your time to answer our questions. You guys are very, very welcome. Just want to let you know, I don't know how many of you guys are new. We're considering getting the program. If you are, make sure that you go to surplusfundsriches.net, click on products. There's a download there. There are 2 downloads there. One's an overview of all of our programs and bundles. The other one is pricing coming up April the 7th and the 8th. And that'll help you guys make your decision. In addition, remember, if you're new, if you haven't purchased a program yet, and you have a pre-purchase question, call me directly. My cell phone is 704-791-9398. And also, this replay will show up on YouTube. Thank you, Peter. Thank you back. This replay will show up on YouTube, usually either tonight or early tomorrow morning, so you can take another look at it. Great questions, guys. Really not much else I can think of. I did have a question where I just loaded up the video today. And if you, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you need to do that. Our YouTube channel is the same name as our website, Surplus Funds Riches, all one word. Go to YouTube, search for that. You'll find our channel. The icon is a house made out of cash. Go to that and watch any of the videos, or just subscribe right off of our main page, because you'll get updated information before anybody else. And it's also nice if you guys go to the Facebook page. That'll help you as well. Guys, I hope this has helped. Looks like we're done for the evening. I very much appreciate you coming. If you have any pre-purchase questions, get in touch with me. And another thing I want to say, because we've gotten some great questions here. Remember, the support's there. Jeff will get back typically within 1 business day. Don't be afraid to use support as outlined. Okay, go to this is only for people that purchase a program. We do check, guys. But surplusfundsriches.net, click on support. There is frequently asked questions on there. Don't just skip by that. Okay, read that stuff, because we're trying to answer your question before you even ask. Save you some time. But then as you scroll down, you can get to where you can ask support questions. Just make sure, guys, it's not something that's easily available in the book. We've had 3 people in the past 2 weeks, I kid you not, ask if we could do an audio file or summarize the ebooks or the resources page, the videos, because they just didn't feel like reading. It's a new skill set. We set it up so that it's a combination of initial content, text, right, PDF, and in addition, there's a link there to video training to kind of back all that up. So you got to do your work there. So Jeff put it up, the actual link, if you guys want to hit that, because I'm going to sign off. If you want to hit that link, youtube.com/@surplusfundsriches. Okay, that should get you there. I appreciate you guys very much for coming by tonight, and I hope everyone has a great night.